What's up, everybody? This is O.L. Buckley.
And this is Sway Buckley.
Of MarriedpreneurLife.com. Yep, this is where we help mission-minded married entrepreneurs. Those of you who want to get more clarity, generate more income, and beyond all of that, you want to leave a lasting impact.
Yes, married entrepreneurs come to us to sync high-level systems with laser-clear strategy to build out a business legacy that is purposeful, powerful, and profitably in sync. Now, if you are an indie, spousal, or couplepreneur, it does not matter. We're just glad that you're in this space. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me break it down for you really quickly. Indiepreneurs are the marriedpreneur type, where both spouses are building individual and separate businesses.
That's right. And spousalpreneurs is where one of you is building the business and the other may be working a 9-to-5.
And the couplepreneurs is where both couples are working together in the same exact business. So whether you're indie, spousal, or couple, we are just glad you're here. And you may be a combination or transitioning from one to the other. We're just glad you're in the space. Okay, we are here as legacy builders, helping other legacy builders build their legacy. And today, with that being said, we have a fabulous couple, legacy building couple right here that we want to introduce you all to. They're doing great things right in their area and beyond. And I think it's just really important to share stories because you all hear us talk a lot about what we're passionate about, systems and strategies and building. But I think there's something to be said when you can hear other stories that of couples who have started in one place and then now are in a totally different space.
That's right.
Based on the systems that they put in place. So, without further ado,
welcome. We got a special guest in the building. I want y'all to welcome Keith and Carol.
And the crowd goes wild. Keith and Carol of, hey, how y'all doing, family?
We're doing good, feeling great.
Doing good.
Feeling great, feeling good. How are you?
Yeah. So glad you're here. So Keith and Carol of Shed Light Properties, they're just doing amazing things. They've gone through the Marriedpreneur operating systems and implemented the systems and are still implementing into their business. And we're not going to do a lot of the talking. We're just going to be asking questions so you could hear it from their mouth directly. We want this interview to really encourage you all, regardless of where you are on your journey. You can see how powerful change is, and that change is possible. It's not always the simplest thing, but it is possible. So we want to encourage you in that. So with that being said, Keith and Carol, Shed Light Properties, tell us, what is Shed Light Properties? Can we start there, please?
All right. So Shed Light Properties is a company down here in Jacksonville, Florida, where we lease homes in under-resourced communities. Our mission is to pretty much invest in real estate in under-resourced communities so that we can invest in under-resourced nonprofits that are supporting young people in our under-resourced communities. And we do that through real estate investments and education.
Keyword, education.
Nice.
Education, yes. So, and another thing that I really appreciate about what you all are doing, it is such a unique model. It's not just about a real estate company, right? It's really a huge community effort, and you all are leading it. Like, y'all are leading this thing and really pioneers in this area. And so for those of you who are listening, you may have questions about, like, okay, what does that even look like? So can you all break down what your business model looks like? Just in a high overview. You don't have to go step by step, but just a high overview of, like, how does your business model work?
Well, the top of our business model is this. We're going to give glory to God because he put the vision over everything that we proceed and moving forward with. So with that,
Yes,
Carol,
indeed.
go ahead with the spiel.
So
That was a great way to set her up.
he sounds like a pastor, don't he? I want to give glory to God. I want to thank O.L. and Sway for allowing us to have this stage.
Glory to God.
So what we do is we locate homes in under-resourced communities that might need minor rehab. So far, we've done minor rehab work where we're just updating the home, taking it from the 80s and bringing it into 2021, 22. Mm-hmm. And we charge or we actually release at market rates, right? Just a little bit below market rate. So like if the market is going for 1,200, then we're looking at going no higher than 900. So that,
depending what their market value is, would be lower than that market value.
So we're looking to ensure that people who are renting from us have affordable homes that they can rent, number one. Number two, as a result of us actually, having these rents, we're able to reinvest that money into the communities that those residents reside. And part of that model is also giving them opportunities and letting our families who reside in our homes know, hey, these are some of the local things that are going on in your community that could, help your family, assist your family, achieve some of your family goals. So that's one thing that we do. And as a result, we also are able to highlight small businesses that are serving in that area because we want to highlight the good that is going on in the under-resourced communities, because I feel like they're always on the news and it gets bad rap, like there's nothing but violence, right? But the ultimate goal is we buy one home at a time, and hopefully in the future, we're going to be able to buy multiple homes at a time, is to eradicate crime and build families, build communities, build businesses. So we're just in phase one of Share Life Property in our 10-year plan.
Yes, that's all it is about. This circulating that dollar in education in that community that we spread out.
That is amazing. Yeah. So with that being said, so you all have this huge vision, and you heard about Marriedpreneur Operating Systems. You actually started with our Love and Launch crash course and did amazing there and really took off there, and then was like, we need more. We want more. And I was like, yeah, okay, y'all are ready for the next level. And so I really would like for you to share a little bit about just the whole process of like where you were before even starting any of our programs or systems. Where were you in your business?
Well, with our business, we was very lost in the wilderness until we came across Well and Sway. Thank you, God, for that. Could they have been a blessing with the step process? That's what I got to say on my end. What you got, Carol?
There's some prayer involved too. I think we had like prayed for some mentors. So I was like, I know I want a mentor, but I also know since I'm in business with my husband, I had a desire to actually seek mentorship together with him. And I didn't necessarily have like, oh, I want this married couple who was like, you know how you just pray and then I'm listening to the KDE podcast and it's just like God's answering an unanswered, like a question you didn't even ask him, right? You kind of asked him this general question, we need mentors. But it wasn't as specific, like we need married entrepreneur mentors. But just being in tune, with the Father and kind of just doing the things that you do every day that you kind of take for granted, listening to a podcast and hearing Well and Sway on that podcast, Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur podcast, I was like, this sounds like exactly what we need and what I'm asking God for. Not recognizing, at the time I was praying it, like, this is what I need.
And that's the key thing too. And with the first Zoom call that we had, which y'all was very genuine, straight to the point, authentic. That's what I love about y'all.
So we were lost.
So were you? Did you launch already, like the business, or like what were you doing, or what?
We launched it back in 2016.
But we just all I did was the basic, right? I started the business. I said, okay, you're gonna be the vice president. I'm going to be this. And then we just started. And then that same year we started the business is the same year we went overseas because I got a job offer overseas. And so.
And at that time we was overseas, we just did a lot of discovering all the things, talking to other entrepreneurs that's in the business. And we just grew from there, learning mistakes, what I call it.
Yeah.
So, and we just been growing from there.
Yeah. Didn't do much. And then once we got back to the U.S., we were like, all right, let's launch this thing again. And let's start going out and finding all these properties and become mega real estate billionaires.
No. And then what happened?
Uh-oh. Wow. Definitely, he led our steps because we were about gone, all out on the wrong side. You know how he gives you the vision, but then you're going out to the world and you're trying to implement the world techniques to fulfill the God-given vision. That's where we were before Marriedpreneur Operating Systems.
Wow.
So in that before Marriedpreneur Operating Systems season, what struggles did you all have during that time? Like just one, but
Figuring out what each of the roles are. It was almost like renewing, like a marriage, but on the preneur side, the business side, just understanding each other on the business side. Okay, we bump heads on a few things. Okay, I'm good at this, and Curl are good at certain things.
And I would say prioritizing. You think you need to do one thing, but then you're doing the wrong thing. That's not. It's even in the right order.
That's so good. No, that's real life. And we just wanted to hear where you all were, to hear your heart. So, those who are listening will be encouraged. I'm like, oh my goodness. So there is a way out. There is a better way of doing this together,
What were one of your biggest struggles?
I said figuring out our roles in the business, the growth, how to connect and see who was stronger in one area and who was weak, and how can we help each other out.
And I would say priorities, because doing things that really aren't like imminent, that need to be done now, and no one like, okay, you don't need to be focusing on that. You need to be focusing on this because this is what's going to lead to, results in your business. That right there is just the extra stuff. So learning how to prioritize what's important was something that we didn't have an understanding of before.
And so was that on the business side, or did that impact marriage as well? Or like how do you feel like those struggles impacted everything?
I definitely feel like for me, because I have a little selfish ambition, marriage is kind of going to go on the back burner while I'm just going to focus on business stuff. So the priority of marriage was like, okay, business one, marriage second, and those two things kind of just work their way. They'll just work out. But, I just had that revelation this past weekend. I was like, man, if that plan was successful, marriage would have been gone. Marriage would have been done. Would have been all nice and big and successful, but marriage destroyed. So I'm like, thank you, Lord, for just really just putting the brakes on things, because, we just have to come to this place of like that self-reflection. That's what we got. Like for as far as priorities go, right? For me personally, like, man, my priorities were out of order.
Yes,
God was not directing myself.
Yes, and I would say this for the scheduling piece, that's like how my working hours, and how my working hours on the days that I'm off. I have one rest day for me to recover, because I work 12-hour shifts, back-to-back shifts, so that's 24 hours. So I see that's getting that in line, and then when I be refreshed and ready to rock and roll to hit this thing, full-time entrepreneur, because we are part-time entrepreneurs, just having a steady line and flow about what I need to do, how can we accomplish everything and get everything settled and concrete, so we know where we're going at, what the path we're following on.
That's so good. So you just mentioned that, and I think it's important to say, though, that's you don't just have a quote unquote regular everyday quote unquote 9 to 5. Both of you are in pretty demanding jobs that are different in their own respects. Can you share a little bit just real quickly on what you do? So I think this really sets the context and the background for you all doing what you do, and yet still making this next step of investing into your marriage, into your business, a priority.
Yes, I do. I'm a Florida State Trooper here with the Florida Highway Patrol, which is a very demanding job, because a lot of things that you see that a normal person can't see. Well, just with my scheduling, it's very tough to do to try to become an entrepreneur, but I love the past. I'm sacrificing right now for the long-term benefits. And my job is setting me up to get where I want to be as a full-time entrepreneurship. What you could.
So I'm a contract specialist. My hours with the Navy, and my hours are a little bit more stable. So like I work Monday through Friday. I get off 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then I'm able to have like a more stable, consistent schedule. So just being able to manage that with his schedule and figuring that out, I believe Marriedpreneur Operating Systems definitely helped us with figuring that whole scheduling piece out, because it's been challenging to build a business while sustaining your marriage at the same time before we even met you guys, right? So after we have so much clarity on that now, and we understand marriage is first and everything centers around our marriage. And with the scheduling, it's flowing a lot more smoother now than it was back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, amen for that. So can you all speak to the after, like what has happened since you started implementing Marriedpreneur Operating Systems? And we just want to say, we know it is not an easy, like walk in the park to do it, but can you speak to the benefits of what has been happening? And let's start first with your marriage. Let's start with the marriage, because you know how we flow. Let's start with your marriage. How has that been impacting? Then we'll go over to the business side.
Marriage has improved greatly because we're on the schedule, as you can see behind us.
Look at that. I was going to reference it. Look at you all with all the those are Marriedpreneur Operating Systems right on the wall. I'm so proud of you.
Again, like I said, look behind us. But because it set us goals for daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. We have been focused on that because that has been a beautiful thing. And we do business later, but that's my biggest goals that I say, and I love it phenomenal because I love schedule and structure. What about you, Carl?
Yeah. And I would say just really like doing the things we said we're going to do in our marriage. So because we have things in front of us, because we have things in our project management system, we're keeping things in front of us where we're not just having these conversations, but because we've made them a point on the calendar, doing our devotional quarterly, right? Making sure that we're praying together each day. We're establishing new habits for our marriage, spiritual habits for our marriage as well. So I definitely would say like our marriage has improved as a result of us being more consistent in doing those things that a marriage just needs for nourishment. Even like planning to go to like our first marriage retreat, right? So this is the first year we've ever participated in a marriage retreat, and just keeping that in front of us. And we're going to our second one at the end of September. So it's just great to even have that in our schedule now, where that was never a part of our plans before. Those things that really build our marriage. The date night, I have to say, we have been consistent with date night in 2022.
Yes.
Do you think so?
Yeah, and then with the group date nights that we do for groups that we do.
The couple date night.
And then, like I said, this calendar has been wonderful. And again, thank y'all for presenting that to us last year when we got in the packet. Great.
Yeah, because Marriedpreneur Operation Systems definitely, it gave us the vision for our marriage. So like when we had our first annual in 2021 in December, that helped us to project, what vision did we have in store? Like what did we want our marriage to look like come the end of 2022? So having the ability to cast that vision, because we're getting that structure from you all, that really helped us set the pace. And here we are, in the middle of the year, still refining. I mean, nothing is perfect ever. God is always refining us, but we're at least not giving up. If we fall down, we're still trying to pick things up and go.
And then we still talking about the marriage part. We're going to switch over to business. On the marriage part, you have to be starting up. This is not easy. This is work. It's a dedication to do. So yes, in the beginning, it was rocky. So, woo, there's a lot of stuff you have to do, but hey, if you want something healthy for your marriage, it's the way to go.
Like a commitment. Kind of like your vows.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commitment. I made a commitment. Now I'm making a commitment that we're going to do this together. You know,
Yes.
It's a reminder of our
Building that
vows,
foundation.
for better or worse.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Thank you for that.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now that you have the structure in place and your priorities are in place as it pertains to the marriage really being centered, and now the business, can you help us to sort of visualize and see what does your business model look like for Shed Light Properties?
What have been the results now?
Okay, so the results are now we're having consistent daily meetings, right? And again, some days we don't have them. So when I'm saying consistent, that might be 5 times a week. That might be 3 times a week, but at least we're having them. So let me be clear with consistency.
And that falls into place because with my job and stuff like that.
So some days are just hard. You're like, you know what? Grace. And for me, learning how to operate more in love, like on all fronts, even in our business, like being able to bring on virtual assistants, because now I'm feeling more confident that we're getting our stuff together. Now we can bring people into something that's going to be graceful
and beneficial. You relieve that stress and things that you have to do. We can offload it to the VAs.
Yeah.
Compared to we first started, we thought we had to do everything. I got to do this. Woo, how are we going to do this, man? There's a lot we got to do. And then we came across, and Sway again. Got to give props.
Yeah. So what was our, sorry, babe.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so what was our business model? Us doing everything.
Leads to burnout, right? So basically, you all started when you started with Marriedpreneur Operating Systems. You started with no support, and now we were just talking before we press replay or record rather, and you're telling us that you're about to bring on not your first, not your second support member, but now your third team member.
Yes.
So you're bringing on a whole team. You're building it out. And I think that's so important for people to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because many people think that they need to do all the things. They're not called to do all the things. But of course, now, we also know that there's a way to do it. It doesn't have to be where it's like a full-time salary for each person, right? It's based on understanding that annual vision, annual legacy meeting, breaking it down quarterly, breaking it down and putting into a project management system, having the vision on the board on the wall right there, keeping the vision visible so you all see it when you do your meetings. You're not confused about it, and you're able to tweak it as you go along. And can you speak to the profitable side? Like, how does we profit in the marriage, but how does it look business-wise based on when you all started compared to where you are right now? Speak to that.
Okay, I speak to that. Happy marriage, profitable business. There you go.
So, with that being said, when you started with your business, you all were you had 2 spots for partners.
Mm-hmm.
You had spots for partners, and you put we created a system, a business system. Speak to that, please.
Okay, so what we end up doing was we started, and this happened from the 101 sessions we had with you all, because sometimes we're so focused and in tune to what we know that we need somebody to come shed light on some of the darkness that we can't see, right? And so as a result, we started getting our voices heard. So we were like, okay, the first step was we need to launch out and we need to start doing forums. So that was our first step. And that was like, how are people going to know about what we're doing if we have no message? Like we didn't have social media presence. We had nothing at all. So that was the first step. And as a result of launching out and consistently doing the quarterly forums, when we got to forum number 2 this year, we were actually able to obtain 1 investor, which was exciting for us because it's like that wasn't even on our radar before Marriedpreneur. Like it just wasn't. So just to be able to have that accomplishment compared to last year, it's a blessing. Like it is a blessing. And so now we're focused on how do we steward our first investor well so that they have a great experience And even just to go back a little bit to, okay, what's bottlenecking us from finding properties? Because we're full-time employees, right? So now we got to go out, we got to find properties. What's bottlenecking us from really snapping them out? Hiring a VA. We need a VA to come in to support us and help us to start looking at properties and analyzing the data. So we literally can just show up at our computer and say, this is a good deal, that's a good deal. Let's make these offers and get these offers rolling in.
Which is a good investment, a VA is.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, there's a process in doing it. So you don't want to just go out and say, let me go get somebody. There's a process, right? Based on what you need. We're not going to go into all that on this episode because this is an interview. This is not training, but that's good to know. I'm glad you said that. With that being said, though, so you went from not even having a system in place to grow your business, to have a place for partners and investors to come, to now, from what you just told me before we even recorded, is that you don't even have more openings now. You have a waiting list.
Yeah, so we have a waiting list for, we're calling them community investor partners. And that waiting list will actually be open and available, where the wait list will be like, all right, we're open in October.
Okay. So
opening.
And so how often are you all doing this?
The forums,
that is.
Oh, the forums are quarterly.
Yep.
And this would be what?
Third, yeah, we're coming up on our third forum.
Okay.
And the next one is going to be in November. Yep.
Awesome. So is there anything?
This is great stuff.
This is really great stuff. Is there anything else that you would like to share as far as wins when it comes to, since you've been implementing the Marriedpreneur operating systems, as we close out?
Man, like for us, the structure alone has done so much. It's been like a lever. You know how you have the lever and it's like, it has all that pressure, like those systems and processes that we were able to create as a result of working with you two, like that has really accelerated our business, and we're well prepared to bring on all the people because we have a structure in place to take them on. And before working with you all, we didn't have a system or a process or structure in place to take on all the demand that God is going to be sending our way.
Yes. And we, like I always said this too, we thank the Lord because this was through prayer too, by us coming across y'all and then implementing everything. This have been like a bit relief that we got a process going right behind
Yes. And while it might be frustrating and you might get frustrated, you might get discouraged, that's really for us where you two came into play and like, yeah, it's a little hard. It's okay. We've been where you've been. We're there just giving us advice and having those one-on-one calls again. Like if anybody is like thinking about this and they're on the fence, like I would definitely say just push the button. Get into Marriedpreneur operating systems, work with OL and Sway, because your business, first of all, I'm going back to my selfish way, business, marriage. Number one, your marriage is going to be fulfilled and it's going to be built on a solid foundation. And then your business is going to be built on another, it's going to be built on the solid foundation of your marriage. And the bigger we become, because God's calling us higher, like because we're so in tune with one another, like that's what marriage operating systems is going to do for you. Make sure your marriage is in tune first.
That's the key thing too. And to all my law enforcement brothers out here that's listening to this, make sure if I can do it, we're doing 12-hour shifts, you can do it too. If y'all still on the fence, go ahead and press that button and ride the ship.
You need community. Like that's what OL and Sway was for us, like community. And helping you again, iron sharpen iron, giving you light in darkness. Like there's things you're not thinking about. Why you're doing it this way? You're just not thinking.
Such a blessing. Yes. So glad to have you all with us. How can people get in contact with you, know about and be a part of what you all are doing
at Shed Light Properties?
Shed Light Properties.
Yeah, so they can go to www.shedlightproperties.com, and that's light, LIGHT, like a light bulb. Shed Light Properties, because that's what we're doing. We're shedding light in under-resourced communities. Yes. And when you go on that page, you're going to see a banner where you can just click on, are you ready to engage, act, and invest? And you'll be able to learn more about our forums and all the great things that we're offering our private community.
Also, we got Instagram. It's _shedlight_. Come check us out. You see a lot of things that you want to connect with us with.
Keith and Carol, Shed Light Properties, thank you all so much for being with us.
Thank you. We so appreciate having you. Until next
time. Thank you.
You.